All right, let's talk about the 76ers versus the New York Knicks. Let's talk about what went wrong for the Sixers and how they can bounce back from this embarrassing loss. But before we get started, please make sure you hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and also don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Let's get started. So the Sixers come out, and this was their first game in about 3 days. The last time they played was on Tuesday night against the Chicago Bulls, and they won. But in their first game back against the Knicks came out, and this Knicks team is a hard playing team. They hustle, they show effort, and that's one thing I love about the Knicks. And I need to show them a lot of love. This Knicks team come out, and Julius Randle, the Sixers did a great job on Julius Randle. They were able to shut him down. He wasn't able to get off, but the role players stepped up huge, and Brunson also stepped up for them, and that's what helped them win this one. But in the first quarter, the Sixers got to any spot that they wanted on the floor. I mean, the Knicks weren't really slowing anybody down. I mean, they had OG Ananobi on Maxi, but I don't think that really bothered Maxi. I mean, he was getting to his spots. He was shoot. I mean, he didn't really shoot the three ball well. He was 1 of 7 from the three, but he was getting to his spots. He was getting to the free throw line, and I saw some people saying that Maxi doesn't really Maxi doesn't really like when players or defenders are being physical with him, which I highly disagree because I mean the Knicks were being physical with them. I'm not going to deny it, but he was still doing a good job. Still trying to be aggressive, still trying to get to the basket, get to his spots, and generate a lot of layups and open threes for the Sixers. And he did earn his way to the free throw line. So that's one thing I commend him for. OG Ananobi is a great defender in this league. I think he's a top 15 perimeter defender. If you disagree, I think you should probably watch him more. But this Sixer team came out, and in the first quarter, it was a close game for the most part. But the role players for the Knicks started going off. I think Miles McBride, I hope I'm saying his name right. He came off the bench and he made 4 threes. Now, I was saying to myself at the time that I can live with that because I would rather he take all the shots rather than Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle. I would rather him beat me than Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle. You don't want the star players to beat you. You want the role players to beat you. And he was efficient from the three. He was 4 6 from the three, and then DiVincenzo was also he also joined in the party, and he also made 2 threes. But the second quarter is where the Knicks kind of blew the game open, and they started running away with it. They scored 41 points in the second quarter alone. Now that's where I was really concerned for the Sixers, and usually in the second quarters, Embiid doesn't start, so it's all Maxi. Maxi has to do everything. Has to facilitate. Has to distribute. Has to score. Has to do almost everything for this team. And that's where I think the Sixers need to make a trade and acquire another ball handler or another player or another guy who can come off the bench and be instant offense. Because in this game right here, the one thing that's been a problem this entire season showed itself again, and that was the role players, the bench players. Now we didn't really get enough production off the bench. Quentin Grimes by himself outscored the Sixers bench completely. Nobody got into double figures. Quentin Grimes by himself had 19 points. So the Sixers didn't really get enough bench production. But in the second quarter, I mean, Paul Reed is not giving you anything. Marcus Morris didn't really give you anything. Patrick Beverly didn't give you anything either. So Embiid had to check back into the game. And at that time, everybody started getting hot. And Jalen Brunson, who got hot, he dropped, I think, 20 points in the second quarter alone. I mean, almost 20 points. I think it was 19. And he was hitting some tough shots. And the Sixers were contesting his shots. They were getting in his airspace. They were trying to keep him out of the lane. But uh, Jalen Brunson is just a smart player. He's physical too. People think he's not physical. He'll bump you, try to get you off balance to kind of hit his shots and get his shots going. And that's what he was doing. And Quentin Grimes also came off the bench and gave them some production. DiVincenzo was also hitting some great threes, and Josh Hart, who is a very good rebounding guard in this league, he came off the bench and he was getting some offensive rebounds, which I knew was going to happen because I've been watching this Knicks team, and they're a great rebounding team, especially Josh Hart. I mean, he had 15 rebounds in this game alone, had more rebounds than Embiid. So that shows you how hard they play, how this shows you the amount of effort they're willing to give you on a night to night basis. And he came off the bench and he was getting some offensive rebounds, kicking out to the corners, and they'll just hit threes. And the Sixers ended up giving up, I think, 75 points in the first half alone, and they were only able to score 55 points in the first half. But they get into the third quarter, and this where this night was not for the Sixers. It was just not a good night for the Sixers. The Knicks go on a 7 minute drought without a field goal. I think they were only hitting free throws, and they were giving the Sixers multiple opportunities to get back into this game, but it was clearly not the Sixers' night, and they were not able to capitalize on that opportunity. I mean, the best they did was cut it down to 13, but every time they got to 13, somebody hit a three for the Knicks, and it was either Quentin Grimes hitting a three, or Dante DiVincenzo hitting a three, or Jalen Brunson, somebody scoring for the Knicks. And I need to give Isaiah Hartenstein some love too, because he's a decent backup center now. He's starting because Mitchell Robinson is out, but he's a decent backup center, and he was giving Embiid problems. He dropped 17 points in this game, and most of his shots were floaters, and he was getting some rebounds, and he did go through Embiid for some of his buckets, and he was making some tough buckets down the lane, and it was just not the Sixers' night. And Embiid did finish with 30 points, and he had his 10 rebounds or whatever, but it wasn't really impactful in my opinion. He had 6 turnovers to go with it. Um, some of the turnovers, I'm not really concerned about it because he was trying to make a play, but he telegraphed some passes. Some passes were just not, it was the right pass, but to the wrong player, and he'll end up turning it over. But there was one play where he was trying to post up Isaiah Hartenstein, and Jalen Brunson came from the weak side, and he stole the ball from him. Now that, I mean, when you're posting up, you should be aware of everything that's going on around you before you commit to a move. And these kind of mistakes can be happening over and over again. But it was clearly not the Sixers' night. And in the fourth quarter, it was just terrible. The Sixers couldn't buy a bucket to save their lives. Tobias Harris was terrible in this game. Now I'm hearing people saying that he quit on the Sixers in this game because he did go to the locker room and he didn't return, and people think he quit. But I mean, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't really. I mean, he only took 6 shots in this game. I mean, just 6 shots, and he made just 2 of them, 2 or 6 from the field. That's terrible for a third option. But I mean, I'm willing to give him a benefit of the doubt. I just want to see how he comes back against the Utah Jazz. But this was the game that he was supposed to go off, and the Knicks were being physical with him, but I don't know if that's the reason why he stopped being aggressive. He went to the lane one time, and he was getting hacked. I'm not gonna lie, but he was not getting any whistles or whatever. So maybe that probably played a role why he wasn't being aggressive, but we'll see. We play the Knicks 3 more times, so we'll see how those matchups go. But as I was saying, Embiid, his numbers weren't really impactful, and I was expecting like a 40 point game, but we only got 30 and 10 rebounds, which wasn't really impactful. Maxi gave you 27 and 9 assists, which was decent, but he couldn't really shoot no threes. He couldn't really make any threes. And the Knicks were just hot from the 3 point line. And that's how they won. I mean, the final score was 128-92. And the Knicks made 18 threes. They took 41 threes and made 18 of them. And the Sixers took 23 threes and made 6. So they made 12 more threes than the Sixers. So that's the game right there. It was a 36 point. They had a 36-point lead to end the game. And those 36 points are the 12 threes that the Sixers were not able to make. That's the game right there. So they got hot from the three. The Sixers made them get hot from the three. And the Sixers weren't able to make any shots. And that was the game. That was the game. As simple as that. It's a make or miss league. You either make shots or you miss shots. And tonight, it wasn't really a good night for the Sixers in terms of making shots. And even though Julius Randle had a terrible night, the role players stepped up and did what they were supposed to do. And Jalen Brunson, being I think he should make the All Star team this season. He was able to lead this Knicks team to a victory, and that's what happened in this game. So um, that's my takeaways. I think, you know, obviously the Sixers need to make a move, get that ball handler who can, be instant offense off the bench and take some pressure off of Maxey sometimes because I don't think Patrick Beverly is the option for that. So these are my takeaways. The Sixers play the Utah Jazz tomorrow night. I think same time. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace.